Welcome to Thinking Outside the Soil with your host, Johnny Alfalfaseed, where we get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. Good morning, and happy Aloha Friday from Blooming Health Farms. And thank you for being with me on this beautiful day. We are getting ready to go attend one of our new customers' 1-year anniversary. So we are selling our pea shoot microgreens that we're growing aquaponically with one of our clients at a juice bar here in town. And the owner over there is excited. She gets so much juice when she presses our peas, and they are super sweet and highly nutritious. So she invited us over there to promote what we're doing, talk to people about our products, our mission, and just help her grow her business and ours as well. So we're really excited to do that. And some of the things that she's interested in are our microgreens and our eggs. And she said, hey, you should bring your eggs down and make this a drop-off point for some of my customers and maybe your customers as well. And I'm like, that's really great. As soon as our chickens are producing enough eggs, we'll be able to get that over to you. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about that in and of itself. Now, a lot of our customers, and ourselves included, have had our egg laying production slow down over the winter for a lot of reasons. Chickens naturally will cease laying, or stop laying rather, in the winter. And there are strategies that commercial chicken keepers, egg layers rather, will do in order to get eggs on a more consistent and regular basis. And it depends on some of the production systems that you choose. Now, here at Blooming Health Farms, and many of our customers, our homesteaders that we're involved with, are interested in growing chickens from a very holistic perspective. They want to free range. They want to have their eggs truly out there being chickens, but at the same time optimizing their production. So we are using a free ranged and pastured type model to raise our chickens, but we're also doing a little bit of natural chicken keeping. So today I am really interested in just sharing a little bit about what we have learned for taking care of our flock during the winter, like the lessons that we have taken away from trying to keep our flock warm in the winter. Now, as many of you may know, Colorado is cold in the winter. It can be very, very cold. We've had -20, -30, -40 temperatures just this year and in years past. And since we have chickens and livestock, like many of us out there, we have an obligation to be their stewards and keep them warm. Now, my entire experience with raising chickens has overwhelmingly, what's the word I'm looking for? Shown me or advocated that we avoid putting a heat lamp inside the coop. I've grown up my entire life being told it's really not good to have a heat lamp inside the coop, and I've personally done that. And when I would put that heat lamp inside my coop, I never slept well. And I still never sleep well, even when I put a heat lamp on my chick brooders. And that's because there are some challenges when we're using that high intensity heat. As a just piece of historical things that I've done, my first coop, I actually insulated it with foam board and carpet. We put foam board inside of the coop and then put carpet over the top of the foam so the chickens wouldn't peck on it, and those chickens were able to survive those -20, -30 snaps. And it's given me the proclivity or the imagination to try to create ways that are going to allow us to keep it warm enough so that our chickens lay year around. And it is a learning experience constantly. But what we have learned is that if you set up a coop from the get-go that is insulated and free from drafts, your chickens are going to be set up for success. And then maybe you need to add supplemental heat in the form of some kind of forced warm air or radiant heat. So creating a really conducive coop environment so that the chickens ultimately don't need heat in the coop. We have found a lot of different strategies, so I want to dive a little bit more into those details going forward for the rest of the show. But real quick, before I go into all of that, I do have a small request. If you like what you've heard or you want to hear something different, please do leave me a review so we can move this show to a direction where it needs to go. And if you like what you're hearing, don't forget to hit that little subscribe button so you know when I release new episodes. Now, when I'm talking to people out there in the chicken world, I often ask them, did you know that chickens actually don't need heat in the middle of winter when we're experiencing these normal types of winter events? And I know that sounds crazy, because we're all used to hearing about how we need to heat coops, how the chickens need heat. And while that's extremely important for them to be comfortable, for them to be as productive as possible, I want to share at least 3 things that we've learned about trying to keep our coop warm so that you can try to keep your chickens warm as well. So there's at least a few things that we've learned over the days and years of taking care of chickens, and I'm just going to give you probably a quick overview of those things that we have learned. So the first thing that I really want to share is that a chicken's core body temperatures are different than ours. So the big idea here is that chickens are able to survive at different temperatures than us mammals, than us humans. But more specifically to what we're talking about is that chickens are able to survive these lower temperatures different than our mammalian livestock, different than the other animals, ourselves, our cats, our dogs. And it's a interesting aspect of raising chickens because they are able to survive down to those lower temperatures, but when their body gets too low, they don't lay eggs. And that's the reason we don't allow the coop temperatures to drop so low in commercial settings, because it will slow down or even stop egg production. Now, it's important to understand that the chickens are able to be comfortable, healthy, and happy at lower temperatures because it's a natural thing that chickens are able to do. So you have to consider why you are raising chickens. Now, the next big thing that we've learned in raising chickens, that even though they can survive down to those lower temperatures, we need to set them up for as much success as possible so that they aren't suffering more than necessary. So chickens are able to survive the cold, but the culprits that are going to really affect them are the moisture in the air and the cold moving air. So the second big thing is to make sure that a coop is free from all of the drafts that are going to occur throughout the winter years. Now, the main thing here is to understand is that as that cold air blows in and out of that coop, the air will condense. It'll change the temperatures in there around the chicken's body temperature. And if that water condenses, or if it turns from humidity in the air into water, and it happens to condense on the skin of a chicken and stuff, there's a concern that it's going to cause frostbite. Frostbite is detrimental to a chicken, and the things, or the areas rather, that you'll see it mostly are on the comb, on the wattle, and on the feet. So those are the first place that we check, and when we start to see chickens' feet and wattles and combs getting affected, we know that our strategies need to be changed. Now, the third thing that we've really learned, and I want to share with you for our winter warmth strategies, is keeping our coop bedding fresh, but utilizing the deep litter method that's advocated by experts such as Joel Salatin, Harvey Ussery, and others out there that raise chickens holistically and commercially. The key thing about doing the deep litter method that we've understood is that the chickens have this deep area where there is the possibility of warmer air being trapped inside of this bedding. And as that bedding becomes a living organism, as it decomposes, that metabolism that goes on will naturally produce a little bit of heat. Now, it'll produce some other things. Mostly what's going on is ammonia decomposition, so there's that concern that the ammonia will go in there. So the deep litter method utilizes the idea that we are consistently adding in carbaceous material, stuff that's high in carbon, like pine shavings. A lot of people use straw and other things out there that are going to add to that mass and continuously give the naturally occurring bacteria in there something to digest, to continuously create that conducive environment for chickens. And we've often seen that chickens will even nest inside that litter on those really cold nights. They'll jump off the roost, go down into there, and they're completely fine. Now, it's something that we have noticed, and I'm curious if any of you out there are experiencing or seeing some of these successes or challenges in your coops as well. Now, I know a lot of us out there are thinking like, okay, Sean, thank you for sharing some of these strategies, but my biggest concern is that if I'm not able to figure out my winter warmth strategies, the chickens aren't going to be able to pay for their feed because they're not laying eggs. And it's a really tricky aspect of keeping chickens for any of us chicken keepers, those of us that do broilers, those of us that do eggs. We have to think about some of these things and the aspects of animals that we must consider. And for instance, chickens in nature naturally take a break from egg production because it allows their bodies to recover. So we've studied our chickens by watching what they do and then looking at other commercial operations to adopt the strategies so that our chickens can have a great area that is comfortable and conducive for consistent egg laying production. And we wanted to share this with those out there because we're also understanding that in order to advance ourselves and others in agriculture, we have to share what's working and what's not working. I've been working as an agricultural educator for many years right now, and I'm here mainly to help those that are interested in empowering themselves through sustainable methods. Here at Blooming Health Farms, we use our aquaponics and chicken keeping methods to empower at-risk youth so that they can become more than they want to be. And we are serving you out there, the homesteaders, the commercial chicken keepers who want to get the best eggs and have the best profit margins as well. I can't tell how many of the people out there that are finding so much success from these strategies that we're learning, that we're sharing, that we're hearing from you out there. So please do reach out to us here at Blooming Health Farms. Share your winter warm strategies, share your successes. It helps others out there. Now, I have a new, cool, natural way to heat and cool the coop, but I'll share that with you on another episode later on this show. Because today I just really wanted to focus on some of the things that we've learned and invite you to contribute to the sustainable agriculture conversation. Though that is all I have for us today. If you are interested in understanding more about how hydroponic fodder is helping farmers like us get really good eggs, or other ranchers out there getting some of the best products from their livestock, head on over to thinkingoutsidethesoil.com so you can get yourself a copy of my book, and don't miss out on becoming part of this next agricultural revolution. Thank you again for being with me on today's show. Join us again on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below, and if you'd be so kind as to leave a rating and review and follow the show. For those with feathered friends, don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix. This supplemental mix has been shown to give you some of the best eggs with the yummiest yolks. You'll have happy, healthy hens that abandon the feeder and give you eggs with high levels of vitamin A and omega fatty acids. So don't forget to get yourself some Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix.